Hi, I'm Yannick Hanfman.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
This is Sebastian Wolfner.
It's Novak Djokovic.
I am Francisco Cerundolo.
And you're listening to the Gametolovepodcast. Podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed.
Welcome back, tennis fans. Day 6 is in the books, and we've had some hard-fought victories from a couple of people on day 6, but the rest of the matches, they were really easy somehow. People seem to be going one day with easy matches, another day with big, long matches, but today was one of those easy match days, wasn't it, JJ?
Yeah, unfortunately, we was in the office for the wrong day, I think, because yesterday was epic in the fact that we had so many long matches, some upsets, some crazy tennis. Today's also been really good, but I don't think it was as good as yesterday. However, there was a few players which stood out to me. The only real great thing about everything is the fact that because there's less matches now, we're going to be able to talk about more of them, and I can have all of the matches on one page, so it makes it a lot easier rather than flicking from tab to tab and scrolling through. The big match which I really did enjoy, I'm sure you're the same, was Mirra Andreeva, the 16-year-old, who was on the brink of going out. So I predicted yesterday when we did the prediction video that Andreeva would win in straight sets, and I mean, it was going terribly. She was 6-1 down. She then won the second set 6-1, found herself 5-1 down in the third, 15-love 5-1, and then ended up somehow fighting to the very end and winning that match in incredible fashion in a super tie-break.
I mean,
what can't she do, this girl?
Where do we start with Mirra Andreeva? She has blown onto the tour. She's come into this tournament. There's a lot of hype behind her, and now she's backing it up. And beating Ons Jabeur in the fashion she did was like one tick. And I'm comparing this now to like sort of like Cub Scouts. You know, you get badges for like each thing you complete. At a Grand Slam, I feel like she's ticking them off. She's got the bagel against a top 10 player. Bing, have one of them. And the next one, she saved match point, came back from 5-1 down in the final set. Another badge on the arm. How many more badges is Mirra Andreeva going to get before the end of this Australian Open, JG?
Well, I'm going to ask you, Ben, can she start a fire? Can she save someone with her clothes on if they're swimming? Because these are all things that scouts need to do.
That she set a fire within me, I'm telling you now.
She probably can do everything. She's only 16 and she's got a lot of fans around the world. One of her biggest fans goes by the name Sir Andy Murray. I don't know if you know who he is. And he had to say this. So he said, Andreeva down 5-1 in the third. Commentator, she really needs to work on the mental side of her game. She's too hard on herself when she's losing. 30 minutes later, 7-6, Andreeva wins. Maybe the reason she turned the match around is because of her mental strength. Maybe she turned the match around because she is hard on herself and demands more of herself when she's losing, playing badly. Winner. And instantly, I really did like this tweet because I agree completely. I think it's fine to be angry and hard on yourself when you're losing. I think the best players in the world are often their biggest critic because you need to constantly criticize yourself to improve. You need to be able to always strive for more and strive to be better. And for her, as much as many people would say it's been a great event, she wasn't ready to go home.
No, I don't blame her either. I think the match that she played today, the mental resilience she showed from playing against somebody who people are going to look at who she was playing and think, oh, Diane Parry, now we know what level she is. She bet like Diane Parry played really, really well. She was hitting the ball so hard, and on any other day, Mirra Andreeva would have lost that match. But she showed something today that we've not seen from her before. We've been saying the third set's the weakness of her. She hasn't really shown. She blows people away in the first set. The second set, up until just the end, maybe. But we saw her lose to Madison Keys, remember, at Wimbledon. She looked like she just faded in that match. This one was completely different. She came from the depths. She showed that she will run every ball down, no matter what, to try and get the victory. And that's what champions are made of.
I feel technically she showed some weaknesses in this match. And you can look at it and think, a bit like the Ons Jabeur one, I do think she's great, but there is some... She's not nowhere near a finished package. She's nowhere near a top 10 player, I don't think, at the moment, because I feel a lot of them can beat her. But she does have something which is very refreshing to watch, and that is a charisma, a brilliant ability to fight, and a lot of good versatility in her shots. You don't really know what you're going to get sometimes, and I find her very fascinating. And clearly, a lot of big stars of the game can get behind her as well, because Andy Murray also enjoyed her performance.
I think she lacks power, and that's the one thing that will come with a bit of age as well.
Yeah.
I feel that her technique is brilliant, and I feel that her desire is amazing, and she's doing so well just off of that for now. I think when she comes up and she plays the likes of... We've seen her play Coco, Gauff and lose quite comfortably.
And Sabalenka as well.
Exactly.
It's the power thing what's missing big time.
But I think still a work in progress, but a work that we're all just enjoying the journey of. And I can't wait to see her play her next round match, because she's playing Barbora Krejcikova in the next round, and another winnable match as Krejcikova sort of squeezed through, not convincingly at all, in her match against Storm Hunter. That was the last match on, wasn't it?
Yeah. And you won't be surprised, Andreeva is the big favourite, 1.4.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. I'm going to go off-piste a little bit here, because we've spoken about Andreeva, and this one, I know it wasn't really scheduled in there, but I thought, as we're speaking about Russians and young Russians, it's only fair that this girl gets her sort of day in the sun as well, and it's the 20-year-old, which is Timofeyeva, and she's in her debut Grand Slam, it should be noted. Debut Grand Slam, and it got here, women to reach the fourth round in their Grand Slam debut since 2016. We got Brady there in the Australian Open 17, Bolsova, Roland Garros at 19, Coco Gauff, what's that there? Is that Wimbledon? Yeah, in 2019. And we've got Raducanu, well, obviously, US Open 2021, and Timofeyeva there, the Australian Open in 24. I mean, I think this is a story which needs to be noted, because she played really well today. I know that we were sort of keeping one eye on it, but it was a really good match against Haddad Maia. She knocks out a seed, and somebody who most people expected to beat Timofeyeva and maybe thought she'd go away after the Wozniacki win. She stuck around, and she looks really, really good.
I'll tell you why. It's because Haddad Maia's just beaten Korneva in a straight set victory, what was so straightforward, 6-1, 6-2. And you was looking at this one thinking it's going to be exactly the same. Haddad Maia played well, didn't really do too much wrong, but Timofeyeva didn't give up and managed to beat her in straight sets. We did watch quite a bit of the third set because we were streaming at the time. Yeah. And yeah, she's definitely doing really well. She started the event 170 in the world. She's now 100 in the live ranking. And on the rankings, we've also got her fellow Russian, Mirra Andreeva, at 32 in the world. So she's flying as well.
It's just been taken over, really, the women's game by Russians and Czech players, it would seem. I dread to think how many of them are going to be the top 20 players in the world in the next, say, 5 years' time. I think if we come back in 5 years, it's going to be littered, and you're going to only see like maybe one or two others in amongst Russians and Czechs.
Yeah, certainly. Let's move to the next big story. And it's not Djokovic.
No,
it's not Djokovic, but it is the player who's going to be playing Novak Djokovic. It is Adrian Mannarino.
Where do we start with these ones? You've sent me a few things for this one, so
you can pick whatever one you want for Mannarino.
I'll start with this one because it is like the one that has the details on. Okay, go with this one first. I'll let you take them through it.
Yeah, before we do, I just want to say a little bit about him. So he's 35 years old. He's got a bit of a temper. We managed to watch him last year in Awares live. He gets very frustrated with himself. He plays a different style to any other player.
Yep.
His backswing's quite short. He has the lowest tension on his strings out of any player, probably ever. It is like half less than the industry or the average as a tennis player. Super, super weak. And plays a very different style. But yet he's very fast around the court. A tricky opponent who's willing to fight and defend. And really good drop shots and touch. I'd say his touch and feel for the sport is one of the best. And a stat here is Mannarino spent 11 hours and 46 minutes on court during his first 3 matches of the Australian Open. Federer won Wimbledon in 2017 in 11 hours and 37 minutes through 7 matches. And that's 9 minutes quicker than Mannarino.
I mean, it's just crazy.
He's exhausted. Look at him.
He's played 15 sets already. And
that's the other thing. No sponsors whatsoever. So he's a bit of a strange type of guy.
I quite like the fact. I mean, it gives me a bit Karatsev vibes from the Australian Open when he had no sponsor as well. I quite like the baggy T-shirt. He just looks like he's on, I don't know, on holiday or something. He's just gone for a knock-up on the court. And then he's just stumbled onto this tennis court. Happened to knock out one of the brightest young prospects on the tour in Ben Shelton. And I think today, one of the best things that I don't think I've really give Mannarino credit for, bear in mind he's facing one of the biggest servers on the tour. His return of serve was incredible. The way he was able to just guess Shelton's serve and managed to just direct it back in deep on the baseline so many times. Shelton was running out of ideas, I think, by the end, thinking, how does it keep coming back? Because that's what is his bread and butter, Ben Shelton.
A few words on Shelton. I think a big reason why he wasn't able to close this match out was because he's playing Djokovic next if he was to win. His father's come out after the match and said that it was playing on his mind. And he thinks that's the reason why Ben lost. And I kind of feel like that as well. I think Shelton certainly angered a lot of people in the Djokovic camp. Some rightful criticism. Some I think is a bit unwarranted. He's definitely a very self-assured, confident individual. And I don't think we should knock young players coming through for being like that. Sometimes some of the words he's used while he's playing I think is a little bit too much. And that's where I'd agree with them. But despite that, I think in his mind, he was preparing for the Djokovic one. He's thinking about how that's going to be and all the media attention. He's been asked about Djokovic at the US Open every single match at this Australian Open, bearing in mind in the press room. And knowing that that was just around the corner, I think, made it not happen.
It tends to happen like that, doesn't it? It's strange. If you're just expecting something to happen, tends not to. Especially in tennis as well. I feel like we've always been bigging up a matchup before it happens, and we never get it. Yeah. Nadal Karatsev, that's the one we're never going to get to see, I don't think. They've been lined up right next to each other in the draw so many times, and then Karatsev just goes out. But any other time, he'd be winning. But let's go back to Mannarino and focus more on him, though, because I feel this is his moment. I know Ben Shelton is the future, but Mannarino, he might not have many more days like this, so we've got to celebrate them while they are there. And there's been a few sort of memes coming out about him as well that are quite funny. Notably, this one's quite a funny one. If you're just listening, we got the Peter Parker. It's like the Spider-Man, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and then we've got a picture of him, and then Zinedine Zidane at the top, and he's doing I don't even know what he's doing here. It's just like a sort of running tweener or something. It's quite incredible. With the same pose.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it Zinedine Zidane? No, it's Adrian Mannarino.
It is indeed. And he has some choice words to say in his post-match interview on court. What's the key to getting better when you're supposed to be too old? Should we find out the answer?
Yep. I started tequila.
There you go. At least we know the success. When you get to 35 years old, switch to tequila and you play like Mannarino. And you can last for 5 sets every time, apparently. So, pretty incredible.
Definitely, I feel like I've learned a lot about him this event. And I'm fascinated for this Djokovic matchup now.
I actually am, and I'm quite excited to get his button back out again because it's one of the most French buttons that we have.
Surely he can't take a set against Djokovic. Can he beat Djokovic? Can he take a set? What can he do? He's just played too much, isn't he? And Djokovic had an easy one today, so...
Yeah, he did. I mean...
And Djokovic upped his level as well, so you'd expect that one to be one-sided.
Djokovic
on
today,
paper, anyway.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be tougher than the match he had today, for sure, because I didn't realise that Etcheverry, his idol, was Novak Djokovic. And I said it in the match earlier. Whenever you play your idol, it's just never going to go well. And he hasn't ever won a set against Djokovic, and it continues.
I feel like Mannarino strikes me as someone who has no idols in tennis and just doesn't like watching it.
For me, like the way he slaps that ball across the net, yeah, he has a bit of disdain for that tennis ball, I feel, when he's even playing the game. But he plays it well, and he plays it awkward, and he's a lefty as well. He's a tricky player. Remember that, I think it was Australian Open tiebreak against Rafa, the long one, 14-12. I mean, it just goes to show he can mix it with the best players on his day. Will he be able to mix it with Novak Djokovic, though?
We'll have to wait and see. Next tweet.
Next tweet we've got this one, talking about the players who haven't dropped a set yet in the tournament, and it isn't going to be Djokovic, that's for sure, because we know he's dropped a set. It is Jannik Sinner.
Dropped a few.
And the other one, Nuno Borges. What? It's a bit of a shocker, that one.
He's played extremely well. I think he's had a nice draw as well, what's helped. Next up, Grigor Dimitrov.
Well, that doesn't help. That's for sure.
Could he do it?
I mean,
I think he's going to take. I think he's going to take at least 2 sets.
It's a big ask, isn't it? I mean, Dimitrov.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of Borges. I think he's awesome. So far, he's beaten Marta and Davidovich Fokina in straight sets.
The Fokina
it's
one
tough, but not that tough.
Well, the Fokina one, I'm really impressed with.
Fokina is good, but he can collapse. He's got that in him.
He does have that in him.
But so does Dimitrov. I mean, this is not a bad draw. Dimitrov, as much as he's playing really well, he could just collapse and Borges winning straight sets again.
That is true.
It wouldn't surprise me that much, no.
He's one of those players, isn't he, Dimmy? Just not quite sure what you're going to get. But at the moment, he's
turned
in
the
good
corner
form.
the last 12 months. He's certainly really
confidence.
consistent and playing well. So we'll have to wait and see. But on Jannik Sinner, I would stick with what I've been saying every episode. He's been the most impressive player so far this event. 6-love, 6-1, 6-3 against Baez. So simple. And he's not been challenged whatsoever. Will he be challenged soon? I don't think so. I don't think he'll be challenged by Khachanov either. I've seen some tweets about Khachanov because, of course, he's another one who went through. And some people saying he's the one going under the radar at the moment and not everyone's talking about him. And I think it's for a good reason because I just don't think he is going to pose any threat at all to Jannik Sinner.
Yeah, maybe call me stupid because I've ruled him out before, but for me, Jannik Sinner, he's getting close to the complete package at the moment. Sebastian Baez didn't even stand an earthly chance at all. Absolutely cleaned him up. 6-love, 6-1, 6-3. Let's have a look through some of these other matches on the men's side just briefly. Fritz turned the corner, got rid of Malazan in 4. That one I was quite impressed because Malazan's been actually in quite good form. We both got that one wrong. Tsitsipas cruising through, looking really good. So one to watch for sure. And he's playing Fritz next.
Yeah, I think I got it wrong about Tsitsipas a little bit. He's definitely turning up a lot more than I was expecting. I didn't think he'd win in straight sets. Van Ascher's a good player.
Telling you.
And there was a bagel in the second there. So Steph is turning on the heat at the moment. Unfortunately for him, he's in the bit with Fritz and Djokovic, I believe. And I mean, Fritz and Djokovic, Tsitsipas and Fritz is like Djokovic's favourite 2 players I think he could ever play.
Yeah, if he could pick people in his quarter, they're probably the ones he would pick.
He would rather them 2, I believe, than say a Kaboli or a Marazan.
I'd say rather than Alex de Minaur. That could be the other one in his section, because he's already lost to him. Yeah. But Grand Slam's different. for Djokovic. I feel that that's when he really focuses and knows he has a full 5 sets to get you out of there, which he sometimes takes the full whack. A lot of the time he doesn't. De Minaur did win in straight sets, should be noted. Nice, comfortable one. JG picked it right. De Minaur in 3. I went for 4. Didn't get that one. And Rublev, I did get this one. Knocks out Seb Korda in straight sets, but a close tiebreak in the second there.
Yeah, so let's see how this all plays out with our predictions then. So how are we getting on after day 7, is it? Or day 6?
Yeah, let's have a look at the men's one now, and then we'll just quickly review a couple of the women's we didn't speak about, and then we'll look at those predictions as well. So on the men's side, this is how it is looking on the predictor. We can read it out for our audio listeners as well. There we go. There you go. So it's all on the screen. You can see here, this is the men's, both getting Mahatch wrong. Both getting Sinner correct. Me getting Tsitsipas in 4 correct. You getting De Minaur and Djokovic in straight sets correct. I only got the correct winner. And then me with Rublev there. So on the men's side, we go down to the score. We're actually a level at 11 each on points. So,
Okay.
And we'll go over to the women's in a second. But we'll just speak about some of the matches first. And then we'll look through the women's. And we should speak about Anisimova, Badoza. Anisimova absolutely blasted her off the court, despite some problems with cramping in her abdominal area. She looked in real pain, to be honest, closing out that first set, but managed to get through it and looked fantastic. How hard does she hit the ball? I mean, Badoza was struggling to get inside the court.
Yeah, the match was on Anisimova's racket. I got that one completely wrong. Anisimova turned up at a big level, and Badoza just simply was a passenger for the whole match. Anisimova made a lot of mistakes, and that's what allowed Badoza points, but it was all dependent on what Amanda wanted, really. If she found the court, then there was nothing Badoza could have done, and she won in straight sets. Saber, we can't really even talk about this match.
No point.
Just
Literally.
demolished Serenko.
It's just crazy. She's got an easier draw as it is, but she's making it look even easier, and she's not going to be tested until the next round. Anisimova Saber is the next match. Now we finally see Saber up against somebody who can hit as hard as what she can. That's going to be a real nail biter, I think, and Saber needs to be on her game because Anisimova looks back at the moment. I want to go to Gauff next because Coco Gauff looked incredible.
I think that's just similar to the Saber one.
Yeah. Coco Gauff, you know, we said about after Rybakina, I know she didn't have a good event this event, but post winning Wimbledon, she became much better and became like a champion on court. Coco Gauff is exactly the same since the US Open. Maybe before, this may have been a tougher test for her, Parks. She absolutely obliterated her. How hard she hits the ball, how well she serves, her movement around the court. She is the full package, and she should be considered as one of the favourites to win this Australian Open.
So is Gauff in your top 3 now?
Yeah, definitely.
She's overtaken Rybakina.
Yeah, definitely.
A bit of recency bias there. I'm not sure she has for me yet.
Check my end of year rankings. Rybakina's down
True.
at 6.
Oh, you knew this was coming.
Hey!
Moving down, Freck. I did call that one, but we'll get on that in a second. And the last one, Storm Hunter, Krajcikova. We did both watch pretty much all of this match because it was on so late. And I've got loads of things to say about it because I watched so much of it.
Go on.
Storm
Tell
Hunter had this match won. She had it done. Krajcikova did not turn up, was not able to compete at all. Storm Hunter made too many mistakes. She made too many mistakes at important moments, was unable to really capitalise. I looked at her and I thought she was a very average player against a player who can play very well, who was playing sub-average in Krajcikova. Krajcikova then raised their level to mediocre standard. Maybe a little bit better. And that was enough just to wipe Storm Hunter off the court. And in the commentary afterwards on Eurosport, listening to them pundits, they call it the Cube, talking about this match, they invited Justine Henin on. I felt a bit sorry for her because she was having to just go along with what they were saying. But there was talking about Storm Hunter's attitude and how she's now going to go on to big things, and she's turned a corner showing the fight she did against such a top athlete in Krejcikova. I mean, I was listening to it thinking, what the hell are you watching? She's not turned any corner. I've looked at this and I've just seen Storm Hunter's been on the tour for a while. She's not really amounted to much. She's never going to amount to much. And she's doing all right. She's making a career out of tennis. A fair play to her. A lot more than most people, myself included, who's talking a lot right now. I know people are going to say it in the comments, so I'm getting that in there early. But still, as a professional tennis player and an athlete, that's all she is. As a journey lady who's able to make enough money from the sport. She's not a champion. She's not going to win anything. She's not that good and will be lucky to remain inside the top 100.
I feel like the Australian crowd were a blessing and a curse. They're a blessing in the other round. They're a curse in this round because I feel like she let the moment get to her and she threw it away. Krejcikova wasn't good, like you said. One of Krejcikova's backhands at one point went wide of the tram line, the doubles court. So we were like, this is not a class Krejcikova at all. She's there for the taking. And she, unfortunately, wasted it. Like you said, if you go back and check some of Storm Hunter's results, the last Grand Slam, she got bageled by Mukova in the first round. So it's like, I don't know if she's ever going to compete with the real top echelon players on tour.
What's her ranking now, Storm Hunter?
Live, I'm not sure. I haven't got the live one up. But She was 180 coming into the tournament.
Okay. So I'm not sure if she's close to top 100, but I just don't think she should be.
I like her name. But I feel like she's hunting for maybe something that's not quite there.
Yeah. It's weird. I keep looking on online and it keeps saying she's world number 1.
Maybe she is.
It's because the doubles. That double, she's the world number 1.
There you go. Maybe she sticks to
I didn't know
doubles.
that. But yeah, just not not great in the singles for me.
127 in the world for the live ranking. She's moved up 53 places.
Okay.
So she's just behind Olivia Godecki, one of her fellow countrywomen. But let's move on to how we did in the predictions. And let's have a look on this one. So we've got here Anisimova, I picked to win. You picked Badoza, but I didn't get the right set score. So I only get 1 point. We both got Saber in straights. Well done. This is the real big win. Freck in 3. JG got correct. I got it wrong. I went Zakharova. Andreeva, we both went in straight sets, so we got that one wrong to a point. Kostyuk, you had to win, but not in 3. I had Avanesian. I failed. You had Gauff in 2. You win convincingly there. I only had Gauff to win in 3.
That was a big error, I think, that one.
It was, yeah. Really. I'll never do it again. Timofeyeva to win in 3. She actually won in 2. So I was undersold Timofeyeva there. And we both had Storm Hunter to win. So we didn't expect her to capitulate against Krejcikova.
No, I'm disappointed with her, as you can tell by my rant. But there we go. That does sum up day 6 action. Please join us for summer day 7. We've got more third round matches. And we are going to be covering Carlos Alcaraz versus Shang, maybe Medvedev Felix, but certainly Iga versus Noskova in the morning. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.